Good morning, RDC. It's so
the economy. So thank you.
Please welcome ROBLOX Chief Product Officer, Manuel Bronstein.
Woo. All right. Good morning, RDC. It's so wonderful to be here. And if you pay close attention to this slide, you may find your avatar in there. But it's actually better to see you all in real life. So I'm super excited to be here. And I want to start by sharing a heartfelt thank you. You're all the reason we're here. You're the driving force that motivates all of the work that we're putting into this platform we call Roblox. And it's been a monumental 12 months with tremendous user growth, engagement, and monetization. And it has been driven by all the work that you have done, creating new experiences, updating your existing experiences, creating avatars and avatar items, and of course, the videos that actually promote all this content. And before I go into the numbers, I want to illustrate the last 12 months of Roblox through the lens of your creations. We know you work incredibly hard to delight millions of users, and so you have. So you showed us what's possible on the platform through experiences like Frontlines. Blox Fruits became a massive global success, and especially in markets like Brazil and Vietnam, users couldn't get enough of it. You brought the world together in fun competitions like RB Battles, and you gave people a voice in experiences like Mic Up. Immersive avatar shopping became a thing, a really big thing, in experiences like Catalog Avatar Creator. And you saw it, we expanded our audience, and we opened up creation for 17+, and you gave us Drinks on Tap. And let's, of course, not forget about some of the classics. There are so many, like Ultimate Paintball, Work at a Pizza Place, Natural Disaster Survival, and so many more. Your passion and creativity never cease to amaze us, and I can't wait to see what you create in the next year. Thank you very much. So now, let's go into the numbers. I want to highlight some of the meaningful milestones we all crossed together in the last year. In 2022, collectively, all of your experiences got 210 billion visits. That's a huge number. And more interestingly, it was growing 28% year over year. We also had users coming to your experiences and play and spend time with their friends for 54 billion hours. That's more than 2 billion days or 6 million years. It's pretty impressive. So now I want to go and take a closer look at some of the new experiences and some of the work that are gaining momentum in this year. 955 experiences crossed more than 5 million visits, like Pet Trading Card and Zoo World Tycoon. We have also 542 experiences crossing more than 10 million visits, like Tower Merge Simulator and Resistance Tycoon. And 30 experiences crossed more than 100 million visits, like Kart Ride Around Nothing and Steep Steps. Yeah. It's hard to believe, and it's very impressive that these experiences were just created in the last 12 months. But of course, if we take a look back, if we look 3 years back in time, up till to June of this year, we had more than 55 experiences crossing 1 billion visits on the platform. That deserves a round of applause. Come on. And 5 of those experiences, as of June of this year, had crossed more than 10 billion visits. Experiences like Brookhaven, Adopt Me, Tower of Hell, Blox Fruits, and Mip City. You're all showing amazing staying powers, and I want to congratulate you all. Congrats. So we continue to invest in our discovery system in support of this growth. For example, we're now serving more than 11 billion experience impressions every day. And that's helping connect users with more than 7 million experiences. And these numbers keep growing quarter over quarter. And I want to show you an example of what we're calling discovery velocity. Take a look at this. Early in June, Rainbow Friends released an update called Chapter 2. A day later, the algorithm picked it up through Friends activity, and you can see in the graph that small first bump. That information fed into our systems, and more recommendations were gathered by Rainbow Friends. And you can see the second biggest bump in terms of impressions. We're working really, really hard to accelerate these systems so that when you create something new or when you update your experiences, it can get picked up and put in front of many users. But I know you'll have a lot of questions about search and discovery. We have had many listening sessions, and in those, we have heard what you're looking for in a discovery system. And what we're doing is we're formulating a set of principles that are going to guide our product roadmap. And I want to share those principles with you. The first one is predictability. We know it's important for you to not have any surprises. So we're overhauling the way in which we do experimentation so that we minimize the number of surprises as we learn and iterate. The second one is transparency. I know you want to better understand how these systems make decisions on what they recommend. And the third one is agency, to give you control or give you the ability to influence the outcomes. This is going to be a multi-year journey and effort for us, but we're committing to developing the system using these principles, and we will communicate often as we make this progress. On the transparency front, I just want to share with you how we think about the role of search and discovery. We want to match users with experiences they will love and experiences they will value. Experiences that will increase their happiness and satisfaction. If we do this, we all win together, because more users will want to come to the platform more often, invite their friends over, and spend more time in your experiences. So how do we do that? Well, we use a large number of signals to actually infer whether users are going to be happy and engaged with the experiences that we present in front of them. We look at engagement, we look at retention, we look at social activity, we look at safety, freshness, demographic, monetization, and many more. And we keep looking for more and more signals that can actually make this recommendation system better. And the goal at the end of the day, as I mentioned, is to match users with experiences that we love. We've been iterating, and we improve the models with state-of-the-art machine learning. And this is helping our system bring more diverse, fresh, and newer experiences in front of users. And you can see the result. New experiences are finding more success on the platform, with 34% of the top 1,000 engaging experiences having been created in 2022. We're also working on search and improving search through international and semantic understanding. And the idea here is that through different languages, we can actually make the results of search more precise. In this example, we're searching for cooking competitions in Japanese. And the results were really, really good. And what we saw in Japan when we did that is that we had a great improvement that led to more plays from search, 15% more. And we're taking those learnings and apply them globally so that we can have that same result in every language. Now, I know many of you love analytics. This is another place where we try to bring transparency to you. And we're making a lot of investments. Hopefully, you're already familiar with our engagement, monetization, and retention dashboards. And they help you actually understand how your experience is performing and how can you improve the work that you're doing. This year, we released the real-time stats and error reporting that helps you monitor the performance of your experience. You don't have to trust me when I say this is valuable. You can read what your colleagues are already writing about it. They're using it every day to monitor the performance of their experiences. We also released the audience breakdown dashboard. With this one, you can see users in your experience by age, gender, country, and language. And this actually helps you inform feature development, what content to bring, how to market this experience, and help you make better decisions. Well, I'm very excited about the next dashboard that we're going to put in your hands. It's called the Insights Dashboard. And this is a new dashboard that is going to be releasing this month, where you're going to be able to see very important stats, real-time information about how your experience is performing relative to the peer set, whether your engagement is good relative to experiences that look like yours, whether you're monetizing as well. And then it's going to point you to places where you can get information on how to improve your experience to achieve those goals. This is going to be super useful, and I can't wait for you to guys have it in your hands. And later this year, in Q4, we're going to be releasing the Avatar Marketplace Analytics. This is going to help all the content creators to understand their sales and revenue on the creator marketplace, on the Avatar Marketplace, and help you make decisions about what you create and about what you sell. We also know it's very important for you to have agency. And one of the ways we want to give you agency is to give you the means to reach out to your audience and connect with them and bring them back to your experiences. This year, we released player invite prompts, and we're already sending more than 13 million invites through notifications for people to come back into your experiences. Early in 2024, we're going to be releasing personalized notifications. This is going to be an API that is going to help you send relevant, timely, and personalized alerts based on social activity, based on events, and hopefully that will help you bring your user back into your experience. And we're developing more and more tools to help you increase your engagement. Now, as we continue to work on building a great user base and increasing the time that people are spending on the platform, we care as much about developing an opportunities for you to grow your business and to monetize your experiences. We're always looking for ways to share more with the community and to support the growth of creators of all types, whether you're an experienced creator, whether you're an avatar creator, or whether you're an assets and tool creator. And our economy has kept evolving. Let's take a look over time. 2012, we introduced Game Passes. 2013, the Developer Exchange Program and paid access. 2014, we expanded our offering with developer products. 2019 was the year that we introduced the UGC program, and 2020 engagement-based payouts. These investments has resulted in great earnings for all of you in the community. As Dave pointed out, we shared $680 million in the last 12 months. But if you look back, since 2018, all the way to June of this year, we have shared more than $2 billion back with the community. But we don't plan to stop there. We have a lot of interesting and exciting work going on in 2023 for the economy. And I'm sure you're going to make great use of it. So let me start by talking about the UGC program. In the last 12 months, 2 billion paid marketplace transactions. And out of those, 766 million were for 3D items. That's a 35% increase year over year. But we didn't stop there. Earlier this year, we launched Limiteds, bringing real-world economic principles like scarcity to drive demand that drive the resale and trading market. And as always, you surprised us and you embraced it. And we've seen more than 2.5 million items sold. But what's more important is that those items are reselling, 80% of those items are reselling at a higher price than the original price they were created at. That's showing that scarcity drives demand and drives pricing. And this is going to be a very powerful tool for us to use as we continue to grow. Now, let's take a moment to celebrate the creator of some of the best-selling items last year. There are some very, very cool hairstyles. I may need some of those in real life. But I really, really want to congratulate you all. You keep creating amazing content, and the community is loving it. So congratulations to all of you. Now, we knew our user-generated content program wouldn't be complete without user-generated avatar, bodies, and heads. Roblox doesn't feel and believe that we should have a single avatar style. We have always looked for self-expression and creativity to shine on the platform. We want to offer users near infinite choices so that they can find an avatar that represents who they are or who they want to be. We opened up the program, and we started seeing what you're creating. And of course, you continue to delight us. Super, super cool stuff. And this is just a small sample. The heads that I'm seeing in the marketplace, the bodies that I'm seeing in the marketplace, it's just amazing. And all of these bodies are using, and heads are using our latest technology, R15, layer clothing, dynamic heads. The reason we want that is because we want avatars to be expressive so that people can use them for communication and when they engage in connecting experiences like the ones you saw and Dave and others demoed today. I'm incredibly excited to see what you all keep creating because I imagine a future when we look at the avatars on Roblox and there's no one single style. There's like breadth of avatars across the place and people can find something that really they feel connected to. Now, Dave mentioned this, and I'm incredibly excited about this one. There was one more step in our creative vision that we needed to deliver on, and that is to make it possible for anyone to create and sell on the marketplace and on Roblox. This is a monumental step, but it's one that we don't take lightly. We started talking to the community, and we heard your feedback. And we know that as we invite everyone to create on the platform, we want to build a system with accountability to drive safety and civility. We also want to create a very scalable marketplace, supporting high quality, supporting healthy prices. And lastly, we want to make sure that the marketplace as a whole becomes very healthy, helping you support and manage your IP as you create this content. I'm incredibly excited about releasing and starting to roll this out in the coming month. This is going to open up opportunity on the platform for anyone. And as we continue to improve our creation tools, I can imagine a world where everybody, every single person, all of those daily active users also become creators on the platform. And that's going to be huge. Now, let me talk a little bit about immersive ads. We have been working together to define what advertising looks like in 3D immersive experiences. This is completely novel. Creators and advertisers are seeing a ton of value as we are putting this content and these experiences and these portals out there. In July of 2023, developers outside of the top 100 who publish a portal started making, on average, 14% of their earnings from ads. And this is just the beginning. I want to take one example. Let's look at Avatar Outfit Creator, which launched in 2022. This experience primarily monetized through affiliate fees and engagement-based payout. In May of 2023, they decided to bring immersive ads into their experience. And by July of this year, of that same year, they were seeing more than 27% of their earnings coming from advertising. But what's more important and what's critical is that they did this through portals, and they didn't see any drops in engagement or in users. Our goal is to continue to build these systems in a way that makes advertising great value for those who want to market and advertise on the platform, but also we want them to become a meaningful source of revenue for all of you. Okay, we've made material investments in advertising and marketplace, and we're always on the lookout for something new, for something that is going to help you build your business. And I'm incredibly excited to announce a new capability that we've been working on that we're going to release later this year. Later this year, you're all going to have the ability to sell recurring subscriptions within your experiences. This is going to be huge. With these subscriptions, you're going to be in control. You're going to be able to decide what do you want to offer inside of that subscriptions, what benefits. You're going to be able to select price points, and you're going to be able to promote these subscriptions to all of your users. I'm expecting your most engaged and loyal fans will want to become subscribers, and they're going to generate a monthly revenue and a monthly predictable revenue for all of you. So this is going to be huge. You're going to have it in your hands later this year, and I can't wait to see what you create. OK, so we share improvements in support of avatar creators and experience creators. But there's one group of creators that is very, very important for our ecosystem. I'm talking about the talented creators of assets and tools in the creator marketplace. These are the creators of models, images, meshes, plugins, audio, and more. They make creation on Roblox more approachable, especially for novices, but also more powerful for all of us in the platform. Can I get a round of applause for our devoted creators of assets and tools? I want to share a stat with you. Nearly 60% of developers on the platform are using assets and tools from the creator marketplace created by this community. So with that in mind, today we have a huge announcement for them. By the first half of next year, we will be passing 100% of net proceeds, that's minus taxes and fees, on the creator marketplace to those who are created assets and tools for all of you to use. This is the highest revenue share in the market today, and something we're very, very eager to invest in. We are very confident that by doing this, we're going to have an amazing flywheel where people are going to be using these assets and tools, creating better experiences that attract more users to the platform. And I can't wait to release the program early next year. We're going to share more details as the day approaches. All right, so there you have it. We're really committed to listening and to creating a thriving ecosystem that supports creators of all types as you grow both your audience and your business on Roblox. I really can't wait to be here, standing next year, looking at everything you have created with these tools. We are going to be accomplishing a lot of things together. Have an amazing RDC. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Roblox Chief Technology Officer, Daniel Sturman.
So good to see all of you here. So what I have the distinct pleasure of taking you through now is a lot of the deep tech we've been building over the past year and some of the cool stuff we have queued up for the next year. I'm going to build on what Manuel and Dave took you through and show you some of the insides of how those key pieces work. But then there's a lot of really cool stuff in our engine and platform I'm going to tell you about as well. So with that, I want to start with one of the key announcements that we just made, talk to you a bit about that. And that is, of course, the fact that we're going to be launching on PlayStation next month. And with that, of course, we're going to be moving MetaQuest from beta to full production later this month. So it's 2 new platforms. Now, what's equally exciting from my point of view is how we did this, that we've rebuilt our technology to position us incredibly well to launch new platforms in the future. So it's not just about these 2. It's about all the things we can do going forward. I want to talk to you a little bit about how we did that. So it used to be we'd have a code base for every platform. So we started on Windows, and then we had Mac with OS X, and that was a different code base and changes. Went from there, of course, to iOS and to Android, each of these requiring a different code base, and then finally Xbox. And as we're going through this, and I think this effort started probably 5 years ago for us, we realized this wasn't going to scale. You can't keep building platforms and expecting to maintain them all and move all the new features each time you have them on each one, because we get to 20 platforms. Imagine the craziness there, right? So how do we approach this? We thought, where can we find a platform that allows us to build our code once and run it anywhere? We thought about it, we thought about it. Oh, yeah, we know one of those. It's Roblox, right? So we are now building what we call the universal app, exactly how you guys build your experiences. We build most of what we do in Luau, and we run it on our game engine. We have this idea of a C++ game engine that compiles in a pretty straightforward way onto any platform. But then we have these platform abstractions. And that's the key effort in supporting a new platform. But they're well-defined, and they're limited. Things like voice calling that we just enabled for Roblox Connect. But then everything else we do, think of the avatar editor, the marketplace, the homepage, that's all Luau code. So that can just directly follow as soon as we do this porting. It also has the other big advantage that these platform abstractions, in some cases, make a lot of sense for the whole community to use. So again, like voice calling. So when we build these out, we can just expose them to you to use through your experience code as well. It all works out really well. The result is that we end up with now 7 platforms, and we can keep growing. Now, there's one catch in all of this. There's a little bit of a difference between a phone and a console. On a phone, we have a small screen. It's all touch, UX. And then if you think about something like Xbox, you have this big screen. It's away from the user using a gamepad. So we had to account for that. We can't have one user experience fits all. But we made this move where we said, we're not going to build this in our code like, well, if it's an iPhone, do this. If it's Xbox, do the other. But instead, we said, let's have these characteristics. We'll have the idea of a small screen, a big screen, a gamepad, a touch control. And that will allow us to mix and match, and also allows us to really position ourselves for the future. So this gets us to 7 different platforms today: Android and iOS, Mac OS, Windows OS, Xbox, MetaQuest, and of course, PlayStation. And by the way, as an aside here, it was a straightforward port for us to get earlier this year, this running on native Mac hardware as well. But then now we're looking at the future, and we're seeing a possible explosion in devices with VR and AR, and we feel very well prepared to take us wherever that journey goes. Next, I want to take you through some of the cool tech behind our avatars. You saw a lot from Dave and Manuel about avatars, and it's all about choice and flexibility. You can see here I have 4 avatars that I tend to use on the platform, and they're all somewhat different. Depends on the mood I'm in. And that's the choice we want every user on the platform to have. But the question is, how do we get there? How do we enable all this tech to happen? And it starts with how do we enable you as a creator community to bring all sorts of cool avatars to the platform for our users to use. So I'm going to walk you through kind of those steps and some of the innovations we've made here just in the past year, and some things that are coming as well. So you could be in Blender. You can build a body, right? And there's a step here I'm going to skip and come back to, but you can try it out with, say, some clothing. But now you want to bring it into Roblox. And in the past, when you did that, you didn't quite know how things were going to perform. So you can save this file, and you can import it. And by the way, now we support GLTF, yet another standard for us to be able to load things with. It uploads into Roblox. And now you can bring it directly into an avatar preview, right? And here you can try out facial expressions. You can try out layered clothing. You can try out accessories, all within this previewer, so you know this creation actually works. You can even try out emotes, as you can see here. Now, what was the step I skipped? Hidden in that very quick video was the fact that you have to worry about skinning, and you have to worry about caging, and you have to worry about segmentation, a bunch of other things that have nothing to do with the actual image you're creating or the avatar you're creating, but how they work on Roblox. And so I'm really excited to announce that over the course of the next year, we're going to be deploying ML tools that take care of all of that for you. You're not going to have to worry about how you make a whole face be rigged or how a body moves. That's all going to be done by the ML under the covers, making this process so much faster. I'd be remiss, though, if I forgot about accessories. Each different avatar looks slightly different. You want to get those accessories to look perfectly awesome with your avatar. So we're building an API. This API will allow you to move, scale, and rotate avatars, or accessories on your avatar. Start with that so you can bring this directly in your experiences. And of course, we're going to eventually load this into Avatar Editor as well. Now, one of the coolest things we shipped this year was facial expression on avatars. And I want to give you some idea of how that actually works. This is just so cool from a deep tech point of view. So what we do is we use the camera on the device, and we capture a video. But we're not shipping that video anywhere. Instead, we have an ML algorithm running on each and every device that infers over 50 different points on the face and how they're moving. That is what we transmit up to Roblox's cloud, and that's what comes back down to every device and then can be translated onto any dynamic head on the platform. So this is really cool for a few reasons. First, we're not sending video everywhere. Sending video everywhere is incredibly expensive. We'll chew CPUs, we'll chew bandwidth. It's just not efficient. Secondly, we're not sending video anywhere, and from a privacy point of view, that's awesome. Your pictures, the user's photos, are not moving up to Roblox as we do this. But then there's a third advantage, which is because we're using an ML algorithm, we can tune that algorithm based on device. On lower-end devices, we can tweak that algorithm down so it uses less battery, but you still get reasonably good facial expression. We can even ship a custom-made lower-end ML model when necessary to really be efficient. And then on the higher-end devices, it can run at a higher speed and have higher fidelity. So it allows us to really respect each of our users and optimize for power and CPU without giving up functionality in the platform, that only high-end devices get this capability. So, yeah, some applause there, right? We want to take this to the next level, though. So this is something that's coming this year, where we're going beyond the head, and we're starting to talk about the entire upper body. So now think of the expressiveness you'll get off a camera with this. You can see here, it captures arm movement, shoulder movement, how you turn your body as well as your head. Of course, totally controllable by users. They can turn this off if they want it, independent of facial expression. They get all the control. But I'm really excited to pair this with, for example, Roblox Connect and the expressiveness you'd see when you do that. And then I want to touch one more thing on how we've thought about Roblox Connect. It's not too often we build an experience, and we really wanted to respect all of you as we built it. And Dave mentioned this, it's entirely open sourced. And with that, it means every API we're using is now a platform API. There are no secret APIs in any of this. So here are some examples. The ability to toggle selfie view on and off, open or close your phone book to see a caller list. Where do you move to when a call is completed? Maybe you have a special place in your experience that's a phone booth. These sorts of APIs, we're opening all of them, and what we're hoping for, what we're expecting, is you're going to take these concepts, combine it with spatial voice, combine it with avatar expression, and do things we never dreamed of in your experiences. We're really looking forward to that. So I've walked us through some of the tech behind some of the announcements you heard already. But I know what you're all really here for. You're here because you want to hear, what are we doing to the engine of the platform that just make your experiences sing even more than they already do, make it easier to build those. So I'm going to take you through some of the cool stuff we're doing in the engine and the platform, and some of the new features you can expect to use in your experiences right away. I wanted to shout out to Voldex and Driving Empires for this awesome video, this awesome car here. I thought it was appropriate when we're talking about fidelity and performance, right? And also congratulate them. They've been nominated for a Roblox Innovation Award for Most Immersive Experience. Good luck on that. So anyway, we have done a bunch of cool stuff in the engine this year. In fact, so much so, sometimes to me, it just feels like we're flying. This is aerodynamics. Pretty cool stuff. And for those, we just got this into studio beta, I think just a few weeks ago, and we'll be launching over the course of the year. The thing to note there, in case you're not familiar with this, none of that was Lua code making that behavior happen. That was all just the physics of the interaction between wind, lift, and drag in the engine. Yeah, we're pretty excited about it, too. And as you can see the example here, that can be airplanes that are flying around, or, for example, here, leaves floating in the wind. But we're not stopping with just global wind and lift and drag. Over the course of the next year, we're going to take those same concepts and bring them to other fluids in the universe, notably water, hydrodynamics. And then going beyond the global wind concept, we're going to have prescribed wind. like a wind tunnel in some part of your experience, or let's say a windy cavern in a Western-type experience. So you can control wind in different parts of your universe, and of course, with that, then, the behavior and how aerodynamics interact. So really excited to get all of this into your hands over the course of the next year. Now, you saw global wind and how leaves blow in the wind. Wouldn't it also be cool to have grass blowing in the wind too, right? So our engineers have been working on it, and even though some say watching grass grow can be incredibly boring, I've been eager to inspect their progress really closely. Yeah. And by the way, in case you can't figure out from the video, this is right. We are going to be enabling you to control the height and density of grass in your experience. This is something you all been asking for. We're so happy to deliver it. As you can see, on this one, I've really gotten into the reeds. Now, more seriously, this is what it's going to look like. And this is going to be available in the next month or so. You can see the grass blowing in the wind. You can see size changing. This is initially going to be a non-scriptable property in Roblox Studio. And over time, I'll open it up as an open API that you can control. So I know this is a big deal for a lot of you. The number of times I walked around this event and heard people talk to me about grass height and control over that, I'm so excited to finally be getting this out to you. Now, I've shown you a bunch of really cool graphics stuff, but an equally important part of any experience is what does it sound like? So I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing in audio. And that is we're launching a new audio API soon. And this is going to take a concept of having emitters and listeners and be able to wire together and do all sorts of cool things. I'll give you a quick, take a listen here. More to hear than to see. It's fully spatial. So as you move around in your world, it's integrated with spatial voice. You can see that microphone picks up from the other speaker. You can start thinking of doing things like bugs in a spy experience, walkie-talkies, all sorts of things are possible. And you'll have a full suite of effects that you can put on any of the sound, like a guitar pedal or a DSP effect. There'll also be customizable sound flows. So for places where you don't want spatial and you want just direct connections for non-spatial communication, you'll be able to do that too. So really excited about how this is going to bring all these experiences even more to life. We're not going to stop with audio, though. We've also been working on video. So I'm excited to say, coming soon, we will have short-form video available on the platform for all creators who are 13 and over and ID verified. It's going to be limited to 30 seconds. Yep. 30-second videos, up to 3 uploads a month. Of course, we have a rigorous safety and vetting process behind all of this. And as we all get more comfortable with this on the platform, we'll open it up and be able to have less restrictions. But we have a few cool ideas of things you can do. You can do things like tutorials with this. You can do cutscenes. Had to let that play, right? Even just background detail. In fact, the Roblox Career Center, which is something we built to do recruiting at Roblox, uses these videos extensively. So this is all going to be coming to you. We're really excited about it, and I expect you'll find all sorts of amazing ways to use video on the platform. So I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about lighting. We've been on a lighting journey for a few years, and we've continued to make some incredible progress. Our high-end lighting for high-end devices continues to be awesome. You can see here the incredible shadows, light reflection, specular highlights off the floor. I kind of wonder what the specular highlights off my head would look like. Right? But really just incredible. And it's in the past been available on Mac and PC and consoles and then iPhone. I'm really excited we're going to be bringing this to high-end Android devices as well. The challenge, of course, is when you go to a mid-range or more modest device, you get this lighting, which by no means is bad. We love it. But it's not as great as that future lighting model we had before with the voxel lighting here. So we really wanted to address that. And what's going to be coming soon is a new lighting model for low-end and modest-end devices that looks much more like this. You get much more of the shadows. You don't quite get everything you get in the high-end lighting, but that's what we're driving for. And here, just so you can see, these are the two side by side. You can see a little bit more effect in the high-end lighting, but just I think that the new future voxel model looks really, really slick. What do you guys think? Right? So you'll see a general theme here. We want to make sure everything works great on high-end devices, but then really well on any device. That's a big part of what your users need and what we promised you as a platform. So you don't have to modify for that. But I, therefore, want to get into one of the biggest things we've been doing that we think really enables devices everywhere and performance, which is streaming. So we've worked really hard on streaming, and we made some big improvements this year. Just to give you a quick example of this experience loading, loads in 4 seconds with streaming versus over 30 without it. Big difference. In general, we've made so many improvements this year on streaming. We feel it can be deployed much more widely. All the templates have it on by default for new experiences, though you can, of course, turn it off. We've seen results like 25 to 30% average reduction in out-of-memory crashes on devices, 25 to 30% average reduction in join times across devices. So it really makes a difference for users, particularly if they don't have a great network connection or if they're on a lower-end device. We've made a number of improvements, though, and a lot of those have centered about partnering with you. This idea that you could give us hints about your experience so we could all do streaming better. So I have here kind of a mock-up of kind of what the computer's seeing when we do streaming. In the blue, that's like the proximate area. That's where everything automatically gets loaded. But then we have this pink area where we have a lot of flexibility, and that's kind of the rest of your world. And in the past, that could just kind of load, or it might not load, and that might work for your experience or might not. But if you enable level of detail, LOD, we've put a lot of effort in making those LOD models, very low-res versions of everything, load faster and look much more realistic. So it makes the whole experience better and feel like you've loaded it quickly. We've also, like I said, some of these hints and controls. So if you're worried about pauses, even in that blue area up there, you can set pause outside loaded area. And by doing that, it means, hey, unless I'm physically interacting with the device or the item, let's just go without pausing. You can do things like there's a railroad up there, or a street road up there. You can make things persistent. So you say, look, this always has to be streamed in. I know my experience. I'm always going to need it. Never stream it out. And you can even do things like the model that's in the green box up there, make things atomic. So you say either load it all or don't. It really cuts back on how many wait for child calls you got to make when you're working with streaming. So we're pretty excited what's going, and we're going to continue to work on this until it works for all your experiences. Now that brings me in general to the concept of scale. And scale is something we're always working on. Hopefully you don't see any of it. You shouldn't have to worry about it, but I wanted to give you an update on where we're at. 2 years ago, we were at like 37,000 servers. We've grown that now to 135,000 servers in our ROBLOX cloud, supporting your experiences and all the users who come to them. Right? That's a lot of growth. That's about a 4x growth in servers over just the past 2 years. And it's not just servers are growing, but bandwidth has almost doubled over the same time period as well. So we're really continuing to make sure there's always the capacity to run your experiences and run them well so that you don't have to worry about that. But another big thing we've been focused on is reliability. No one's more bummed than we are when ROBLOX is down. We hear frustration from you guys as well. And we made some really big improvements over the past year. So just comparing the first 6 months of 2022 to the first 6 months of 2023, we used to be at 98.9% available. This year, it was 99.6% available. That's a 65% reduction in downtime, which is, just to put that in terms where you can understand better, about 125 million engagement hours each month that we're not losing. We're not done yet, though. Our goal for this time next year is to be at 3 nines availability. That's 99.9%. And our long-term goal for the platform is 4 nines availability. That's 99.99% available. To put that in terms you can probably understand, that's less than 1 hour of downtime a year. That's what we're aiming for. Take us a bit of time to get there. So how are we getting there? There's a lot of hard engineering, and I want to walk you through some of the really cool stuff we're doing on the back end to make this work. So we used to just have a single data center in Chicago, a big monolith, as we called it. We didn't want to be in that situation. We built, 2 years ago, a new data center in Ashburn that we can manually fall over to if the worst happens in Chicago. But this year, we've been focused on this really cool concept we call cells, cellular data centers. This is where we take each of these data centers, and we kind of break them into autonomous units that fail independently, and we can stripe all our back-end services across cells. I'm really excited that our top 20 services by capacity are all already on cells, and we're working on the rest. And then over the course of 24, our focus shifts to what we're calling active-active data centers. This is where we have multiple data centers in different parts of the country, all working together, so if we lose one or part of one, we can fail over to the others seamlessly with no manual intervention. Now, all that can sound kind of complex, and I think the best point of all of this is you actually don't need to worry about any of it. You build experiences the way you've always built experiences, and these reliability improvements are just going on in the background. And that is very different than folks who are building custom backends on other platforms and having to spend a lot of time building this availability into their systems as they get to scale. OK, so now I do want to talk about safety and civility. This is just so important to the platform, at least it is to me. You guys all agree, like, safety is what separates us, right, from, like, the chaos that is the rest of the internet, right? So we've been working hard on this on two fronts. First, as you'll see, we've been pushing the envelope on what the leading-edge tech in the world is around how to make environments safe and civil. But also, we've started a new set of efforts around how do we partner better with you so that we can have tools that enable us to work together on moderation, safety, civility within an experience. It's something I've heard from a lot of you that you want to be able to do. So I'm going to take you through some of that. But first, since we were just talking about reliability, I have to say it's not too often when a team comes to me and say, hey, we've broken everything, I actually smile. But that's what we did this year with what we did with exploits. We broke all the exploits on Windows with the rollout of our new Hyperion technology. I heard so much from many of you last year that you just needed us to fix this problem, that you weren't able to build competitive games, that the exploiters were all over your experiences, that this was not OK. We put a lot of effort in, and Hyperion was the launch of that, and we're really pleased of the impact that's had on Windows. Like I said, it broke all the existing exploits. It dramatically reduced the amount of cheating we had reported. It basically made chatbots on Windows extinct. Really big impact here, but we know that's not enough. However, we got some great quotes around this from our community of exploiters, right? Things like, I'll just read some of these to you. A sad year for exploiters. Or my favorite here was, it's already been multiple hours without me exploiting. I just can't go outside and touch grass. I've come too far. I can't go back now, right? They sound pretty bummed out. I can't really feel too bad for them. We're not stopping there, though. Of course, exploiters are going to move to other platforms. Over the next few months, we're going to roll out Hyperion on the Microsoft Store app. And we're starting to take on Android as the next big platform for this, starting to move those capabilities over, detecting modified binaries, obscuring security code within the app. We think we have a good beat on this. My commitment to you is we're not going to stop until you're not thinking about exploiters at all. You're just thinking about how to build the next killer competitive game on the platform. There's another area that's come up this year that we're also very focused on. I want to give you an update on, and that's DDoS. So this year, we've made some big progress rolling out a technology called UDMux that protects all of our game servers from broad-based, high-powered denial-of-service attacks on the platform. And that's about 75% rolled out. At this point, we expect to soon be at 100%. We also rolled out a new API called a Fair Resource Sharing API. What that does is it avoids more individualized DDoS attacks where someone can make very expensive API calls over and over and over again, thereby slowing the experience down. That's about 50% rolled out. You can kind of think of this as like a bouncer at a party that keeps any given client from eating up all the server snacks in the experience. Right? So we're not going to stop there, though. The folks who are trying to do this, they continue to innovate, and so are we. Our teams are actively at work. In fact, there were changes rolling out yesterday, probably even this morning, a little bit risky, to continue to push on this DDoS issue. And my commitment again to you is we're not going to stop until these guys are a thing of the past. I also want to spend some time on that other category of safe things we're doing, which is around how do we work together. And we've started to roll out some APIs around that. The first I want to talk about is the isVerified API. This allows you, in your experience, to understand if a user is either phone or ID verified. You can see here a great experience from Sketchy Laboratories called Boxing Beta. And they kind of use that to highlight this checkmark. Yeah, right? Round for Boxing Beta. We're going beyond that, though, to building a banning API that will be rolling out later this year. A lot of you have told me how much work you have to build from scratch to build your own banning systems in your experiences. So we're going to give you an API that makes that straightforward to do. But again, right? It gets better, though. It gets better because, first of all, we can then take those signals. We see the same user is being banned in a bunch of experiences. That gives us a lot of useful information. And then, even better, is as we expand this API, we'll be able to integrate our own alt account detection into this API. So if you ban someone once, when they come back, or better put, they're not coming back, right? And then we're starting to do things. Now that we have age guidelines on the experience, we understand different experiences may want to dial in how they treat age somewhat differently. So if you think about a 17+ experience, you may want to really relax the text filter from the default in a 17+ experience. You know everyone in there is 17 or older. So we're going to give you APIs to be able to do that as well. And this is the first of, I think, many, as we give you a lot more customization over the safety and the nature of your own experiences. Now, we're talking about text, but one of our biggest launches this year was around voice. Voice poses some really, let's say, interesting moderation challenges. That's right. And it's something we started working on earlier this year, is we realized we had to do something that had never been done before. It's a fun discussion that I have with an engineer team. I say, we need to build something like this. And they go, it can't be done. I say, we need to build something like this, back and forth. Well, we did build it, and I'm really proud of the team on this. I'm going to give you a quick demo. Now, just so you know, I know you're all really sensitive. So we really kind of tuned up the gain on the filtering here. The beeping you hear also wouldn't occur in a real experience. It's there to protect your ears. But it gives you an idea of what this is all about and how we're doing voice moderation.
Oh, shit. Where did our friends go?
Yeah, so the first experimental rollout of this technology is going to be in English. And what we're going to do is when we detect inappropriate behavior, and it's not just swearing. We look for swearing, we look for dating, we look for our usual categories of policy misalignment. We're going to pop up this reminder or nudge to users and remind them that they can't talk like this on the platform. As we get more confidence in this AI, we will, of course, be able to take more direct action. But I'm really excited about this. Like, no one in the world, as far as we know, has deployed voice moderation at scale. And this AI doesn't just use the words, which was kind of the best state of the art. It listens to the tone of voice, which we know makes such a difference in vocal communications. So excited this is coming and something we're able to deliver to you. And now, the last thing I want to talk about, a lot of this was enabled, the voice moderation, through advances in artificial intelligence. And we've been focused on that in particular around generative AIs. And we think generative tools are going to empower all of you to go so much faster and take so much of the daily grind out of what you have to do and enable you to focus on your creativity. So earlier this year, we launched materials generation, and we launched coding assist. In case you haven't seen it, I just want to show you what that looks like. So here, we're modifying the card just with English prompts. And we're building some really sick materials with that would take forever to build. These are not out of any catalog. They're being generated on the fly. You can also, through text, English text, start to give behavior, like here, how headlights should work on the car, enabling that without any direct coding. And you can go beyond that to talk about the world as well, so maybe changing the weather and experience, again, just with a set of English prompts and having that translated just in a code. This is just the start of where we're going with generative AI. And the last thing I want to touch on is something we're calling ROBLOX Assistant. Now, Nick and Tien are going to be up here later, and I don't want to steal all their thunder, but I wanted to give you a taste for what it looks like when you add a conversational AI to ROBLOX Studio. Take a look at this.
Hi there, what can I help you build?
I want to make a game set in ancient ruins.
Great idea. I got started by scattering some assets to create ruins. Here's what I used: ruin columns, rubble, rock wall, ancient statue.
Make the player spawn by a campsite in the ruins.
I inserted a campfire from Marketplace and moved the spawn next to the fire.
Add some trees for the player to chop down.
I have placed copies of a tree around the ruins and varied their position and rotation.
Can you use a variety of tree models? I'd like to have a more northern feel.
Sure, I've swapped a few of the trees with other assets closer to your description. Tall evergreen tree, birch tree.
So, isn't that awesome? I hope you all are as excited by the deliveries this year as I am, and especially about where we're going with this platform. I really want to thank you so much for being here, and thank you for all that you do on Roblox.
Please welcome back